What's up, MAST family? This is Dwayne Spires.
And Lauren Spires.
And we are your summer camp and after school program experts with the Martial Arts Success Team. And let's just start by saying the last two modules where you learned about the coach's responsibilities and you learned about the director system, those were insane. You are literally equipped right now with everything that you need to create a huge level of success in your summer camp. You know the marketing, you know the memberships, you know the sales, you know how to do school events, you know how to launch an incredible referral program, and you know exactly what your coaches need to do each day. And then to top that off, your director is going to be a rock star. Now keep in mind, like we've said before, you're going to have the opportunity to possibly be the director in your program for that first year, but then ultimately we're going to hold you accountable to be the CEO. So that way you can delegate responsibility to your team. You can empower them to crush it as you expand your business, work less hours, and make more money. I mean, that's what it's all about. We never want to be owned by our martial arts school. So here's the plan. A lot of people say, wow, those last two modules were incredible, but how do we find Rockstar employees? Well, the good news is that module number 18 of this course is going to give you everything you need to know on where to find them, how to get awesome employees and interns, as well as what to write in your employment ads, where to display your employment ads, as well as the entire interview and audition process, so that when you go to hire somebody, you are confident and you know that they are a perfect fit. So if you're ready to take your business to the next level and have an incredible team, let's go. Before using any of the information in this MAST training module, make sure that you are fully aware of your state and local employment laws. Consulting with a qualified legal professional is always advised. All right, let's get started by turning off your cell phone.
Make sure you get into a nice, quiet place where you can focus.
And shut down any browser windows with those social media distractions.
You definitely want to take notes on this one because this is going to be that ultimate guide to finding your Rockstar team and training them the right way.
That's right. And as you're watching this module and you're hearing Lauren and I give you all of this amazing content, write your questions down and post them in our group. We love to help you as well as our entire MAST family. We lift as we climb. All right, our goal is to give you the opportunity to teach more martial arts to more children in your community, make a lot of money this summer, and have a blast doing it. And most importantly,
it's about changing those lives and inspiring all of the families in your community that you service.
Absolutely. So in this module, we have a lot to cover. This is going to be a longer one, but we want you to be ready to rock. So the first thing, the MAST culture and mindset. You're going to learn exactly what it takes to create an incredible team that is enthusiastic about showing up to work each day and doing a great job.
And in part number 2, we are going to go through where to find these awesome new employees.
Part number 3, we're going to go in depth on the job ad template. Now, you will get a downloadable template with this so that you can fill in the blanks and use it immediately.
And in part 4, we're going to go through the phone interview system. There's a lot that you can tell from a phone interview.
That's right. And after they pass the phone interview system, the next step is going to be offering them an interview where they come in and they meet with you one-on-one, or they meet with you in a small group. Now, what's great is you're going to receive a bonus video, a raw, unedited video where I actually host a real live group interview with strangers. I mean, these are literally people that we just met, who had passed the phone interview. They came in, they learned about the company, they learned about the job opportunity. We ended up hiring more than half of them, and they stayed on board for multiple years. This is going to be a game-changing video for you to watch.
Very true. And part number 6, and probably the most fun part, is the audition process. So getting that new person in to see how they interact with your students, see how they interact with your current staff, and make sure that they are going to be an awesome fit for your team.
All right, number 7, now that they've passed the audition, it's time to offer them a job. So this is going to talk about the 90-day probationary period and what to do during that time.
And number 8 is going to be disciplinary strategies and how to handle those.
Number 9, we're going to give you everything you need to know about how to host an incredible staff training session once a week. Super simple, where you follow an agenda, where you teach them 2 or 3 awesome topics that are going to help them become even better. Okay, let's get started with part number one. I want you to look at this picture, look at the smiling faces on those kids, but most importantly, look closer at the coaches that are standing up behind them. They've got their thumbs up, smile ear to ear. These are rock star coaches, and because they have so much fun in their job, they pass along that culture to the students. And as we all know, when the kids are having a lot of fun, the retention rate stays higher, and then that's when they're worth $6,000 per year in your school. They go from summer camp right into after school, and they repeat that process for the next 3 to 5 years. So if you're ready to learn that, this is going to be awesome. Let's get started with 7 MAST pro tips that you need to know. The first one, only hire rock stars who are enthusiastic, coachable, and have high energy just like yourself. It's important to make sure that the energy stays high so that the environment stays fun.
Absolutely. And then you always want to keep in mind that when you're hiring, you hire slowly. However, if you have somebody that's on your team that may not be a good fit, you have to fire fast.
There have been so many examples where we've been coaching school owners who have told us about this one employee that doesn't do a good job. And then they go, should we fire them? Should we keep them? Should we fire them? Should we keep them? They stay on the fence for so long. And we're like, listen, there has never been a single example where a school owner has had a gut feeling that they should let the person go. And then all of a sudden, weeks later or months later, they're like, wow, I'm glad that I kept them on the team so much longer than I did. In fact, the opposite is true. Everybody, I mean, literally 100% of our clients, 100% of the people that we've talked to at martial art school owner events, they've said that when they finally let that person go, it was the best decision they could have made. So you have to fire quickly, and we will always support you on that. Now, also, here's another way to look at this. As you start to become a more educated, more experienced entrepreneur with the MAST system, and your business goes to the next level, you are going to look at your team from a different perspective. And occasionally what happens is you realize that some of the people on your team shouldn't be there anymore. So just be open-minded to the fact that if someone is not willing to adopt your new culture, if they're not willing to share your new and exciting vision of growth and changing more lives, that it is perfectly okay to let them go. And there's a lot of mindset work that we do around firing somebody. And what's important to know is that we don't want to frame it as firing. We don't want to frame it as we're terminating someone. But instead, we are giving them the opportunity to pursue something that they are more passionate about. Because think about this. People that are passionate about what they do, and when people love what they do, they always do a good job. So if their performance is lackluster in any way, their heart's not in it. So this is your opportunity to let them go and find something that they love. So when you reframe it that way, you have confidence to take the actions that are necessary to go to the next level.
And next is you always want to be hiring. So this will give you that power to replace your weakest link when needed. Remember that you are only as strong as your weakest link. So if you've got to get that person out of there, it's important to always be collecting new resumes and having basically a stockpile of people that you kind of have in your back pocket that are ready to go.
After the first year or so, you should have a couple dozen resumes on file, as well as a list of potential new hires that you could blast an email out to and go, hey, we just had a spot open up, or we have a spot opening up next month. We're accepting resumes and we're hosting and scheduling interviews right now. Are you still interested? And that gives you the power, the leverage, and most importantly, the freedom to know that if you have to let somebody go on your team so that they can pursue other options and find something they love, you'll never be shorthanded. And that gives you power. That gives you that bold confidence to grow and to scale your business. Now, another thing that's going to help you grow and scale is always being the business owner that operates with integrity and honesty. It's very simple. Do what you say you're going to do and always tell the truth, even when it's not convenient. That is how you will always have respect from people. They'll admire you for your honesty, and you will always have trust. It's very important to have that.
And you also want to catch your staff doing the right thing. And you want to reward them for that. Now, a reward can be something tangible, like, hey, maybe they, brought in a new family and you want to give them a bonus for referring that new family. But it can also be something as simple as, hey, I really like the way that you're sweeping that floor. Great job. But by acknowledging them doing the right thing, you're creating that culture of everyone always doing the right thing.
Absolutely. And we've already talked a lot about this when we talk about students and classroom management. You want to find the children doing the right thing. So that sets the precedent for this positive culture. Well, the same thing exists with your staff. And then if you really want to take it a level deeper and really talk about the psychology of persuasion and the psychology of influence, you can start doing this with your customers as well. So when you have a family that refers another family, acknowledge them publicly on social media, right? If you have somebody that makes a donation or somebody that volunteers to help you on a field trip, publicly acknowledge them on social media, because then you will have more and more parents that want to follow suit. They want to help you. All right, now, one thing that's very important is you want to give honest people the opportunity to be honest. I'm going to say that again. This is worth writing down right now. Give honest people the opportunity to be honest. So what this means is, let's say, for example, you have cameras in your school, or you randomly show up to spot check people's performance. It's not that you're spying on them. It's not that you are looking over their shoulder or micromanaging them in any way. Because remember, you only hire the best. You only hire rock stars who are honest. So what you're doing when you spot check or you glance at your camera, you review tape, is that you're there supporting them. You are there to find things that they can do 1% better. And the best part about it is, as you build your team, this is part of the culture of your entire school, because they are going to have the opportunity to give you 1% improvement suggestions. And think about this. In 1 year, if you improve by 1% every single week, you are going to have an entirely new business by the end of the year with better performance, better results, more money, more students, and all of that great stuff. So keep in mind, by giving them the opportunity to be honest, you're keeping things transparent. And that is what is important, especially as you grow. Now, look at all these happy employees, right? Where do we find these people? Everybody asks, is it best to put an ad on Craigslist? Do we go to Indeed.com? What about Facebook? There's all these questions. So let's dive right into this topic and start with some MAST Pro tips. First off, referrals from current Rockstar employees are always awesome. And the reason why is because they understand your culture, they have a high level of respect for you as the owner, and they want to help the company grow. So when they refer somebody to you, it's a pretty safe bet that that person's going to be a good fit. And then another thing is, you want to ask yourself, do you already know some awesome people? But keep in mind, don't be the school owner that hires somebody out of convenience. Just because Uncle Bob is unemployed and he needs a job to pay his bills, that doesn't mean he's a good fit for your school. Just because Aunt Susie got laid off last week and she specializes in, IT, it doesn't mean that she's going to be a good fit for a summer camp working with kids. So always ask yourself, even if you know the person, even if you love the person, they're fantastic, are they the best fit for the job? Yes or no? And answer that question honestly, and you'll know in your heart if they're going to be a good fit.
That's very true. And you also want to use social media to spread the word that you are expanding and accepting new resumes. Notice the word expanding. So you never want to be the school owner who comes across as being desperate, that you have to hire somebody right now because you just fired somebody or somebody just decided to quit. Like, don't post that on your social media.
I've seen people who are not in the MAST program. They've posted things on social media that literally say, oh my gosh, we just had somebody quit. We need an after school or summer camp coach tomorrow, ASAP. Who can help us? Are you kidding me right now?
Wrong. Don't do that.
The worst thing that you could do for your brand. That's the worst thing you could do for your company's reputation. Horrible idea. Never, ever write things like that. You're always hiring because you're expanding. You're always hiring because you are adding rock stars to your team. That is a very important distinction to know. Now, where do you find these people? So social media is awesome. You also have Indeed. You also have Craigslist. These are great places to put your job employment ads where many people can see them. And you will attract a lot of applicants. You'll have a lot of people submit their resumes. Now, of course, if you live in a larger city, you're going to have more applications and resumes than if you lived in a small rural town. But either way, you want to make sure that you're hiring the best. So the culture is we are
the best.
And we teach that to our kids. We follow suit in our personal lives, and those are the people that we hire as well. So leveraging all of those things are very helpful.
Now, this one is actually really awesome, and it's going into your local high schools, colleges, and universities, and you can find some really incredible employees or even some interns to work with you during the summer. So the cool thing about this as well is, when you're talking about high school, obviously you want your coaches to be 18 or older, but you'll have graduating students as well as teachers who are off during the summer months. So you can hire the teachers as well.
Yeah, and we've actually seen a lot of people go into the elementary and middle schools as well, specifically to offer those teachers the opportunity to work during the summer. Now, one thing that's great about that, first off, we've done it more times than I can remember. The teachers already have their level 2 background screening. They've already had plenty of classroom experience. They can also help you promote your camp if they work inside of an elementary school. And then they can also give you a warm introduction to the principal and the assistant principal, guidance counselors, and things like that, as well as bring you in for future school talks in their classroom. So there's a lot of reasons, a lot of ways that you can do this. But keep in mind, don't make the assumption that just because the person is a certified teacher, that they're automatically going to know what to do. A summer camp environment is much different than a classroom academic environment. We've actually had to figure that out the hard way. I remember the first couple of times that we hired teachers, we just basically gave them no training. We assumed that they were going to be rock stars from day one, and they were nice people, but they had no idea what to do. So don't make that same mistake. Train them just like everybody else and assume that they don't know what they're doing, and then that way you'll cover all of your bases as you expand. And one thing that I want to really emphasize is that when you do hire elementary school teachers, when they help you promote summer camp to their current students, they can actually help get you sales that will in return basically pay for them to work in your camp. So if they bring in extra revenue, you basically have a free employee for that whole summer. Part number 3, the job ad template. All right, we've literally used the picture that you're looking at. We've used this on Facebook campaigns. It's done very well. And we've had a ton of resumes, and so have our MAST members. So this right here, I'm going to zoom in just a tiny bit. And what this is the template that you can use for a job employment ad. You can literally copy and paste it. You want to fill in the blanks anywhere that you see the highlighted areas. It's going to be really good. I want to make sure that those are accurate. And then you want to post that on all of those sites and on social media. Encourage your friends to share it with people and really spread the word about your opportunity. And remember, do we ever hire out of necessity?
No, never.
We only hire out of expansion and because we're adding rock stars. Make sure you write that down. And if you have any questions about this template, let us know. Lauren and I are always happy to help you go to the next level. When you're creating job ads on Indeed and Craigslist, for example, it's important to make them stand out by adding high quality, happy looking photos that express your culture. So I'm going to show you a series of photos that we would use in all of our job ads, and they always help us attract the right people. And remember, you are going to get that bonus video that I mentioned where you will literally watch us do a live group interview, and you can see the exact type of people that this job ad has attracted. So you can see these photos here, happy smiling kids. You have Coach Lauren with 2 awesome girls. Look, if you look to the left, it says, I love you. I mean, that's the connection that these kids have with us, right? I mean, they truly love us because we're changing their lives. We have a lot of fun. You have pictures of the kids hanging out outside, pictures of the kids, waiting for their after-school program at school. This is one of my favorites. I mean, who doesn't love parachute activities? I mean, this is a blast. By the way, get a parachute for your summer camp and after-school program. You can get them on Amazon. Now, let's shift gears. We all know that Michael Scott is the world's best boss.
It's true.
In order to be the best boss, you have to have employees. And in order for you to have employees, you have to interview them. So let's talk about what to do and what not to do when you start interviewing. Part number 4 is going to be everything you need to know about the MAST phone interview system.
All right, so let's go through some MAST pro tips. So first things first, you want to have the applicant call you at the same time that you would expect them to clock in for the shift that you're looking to fill. And the reason for that is because you want to make sure that they're actually available during that time.
What if they call 5 minutes late with an excuse?
Well, then look, here's the thing. During the interview process, they're putting their best foot forward. And if on their very first part of the interview, they're 5 minutes late and they have excuses, it's not going to work out. I don't care what they say. It is literally going to be a very distinctive pattern that will just continue to happen over and over again. So if they are calling in 5 minutes late, sorry, no go.
Let me say that in other words. I want you to write down on your notes right now the number 100 and then put a percentage sign. That stands for 100%. And then write the words, will not do a good job. 100% of them will not do a good job. We have tried to make exceptions to this rule. You know, somebody reschedules their initial call, they give us some excuse, their mom's in the hospital, they got sick, their significant other wasn't feeling, we've heard it all. And we said, okay, well, their resume is so good, let's give them a chance. We've rescheduled. They do a great phone interview. We've ultimately hired them. And then guess what? The pattern repeats itself. Now they're calling out. Now they're showing up late to shifts. Now we're shorthanded. We're out of ratio. It is not acceptable. Interviews are only 10 to 15 minutes maximum. That's it. So you're not trying to spend a bunch of time with people unless you know that they're a good fit. This is the first step to determining if they're a good fit. Because while you're on the phone with them for that 10 to 15 minute time frame, you're looking for enthusiasm, professionalism, and positive attitude. If they don't have those things, chances are this phone interview is going to go, hey, how's it going? Tell me about yourself. Oh, interesting. Great. Okay, great. Well, we are going to call you back if we're interested. Goodbye. And it lasts 5 minutes. Because typically you'll know right off the bat if they're a good fit for what you're looking for on this phone interview.
Now, you'll want to use the phone interview template and take notes during that interview. So, and the reason for that is because if they do a fantastic job on the phone, ultimately, you're going to have them come in and do an in-person interview. And you want to be able to reference back the notes that you took while on the phone interview because maybe you'll have some follow-up questions. Maybe you need some more clarity to some of the responses that they gave you.
Yeah, and here's the thing. If they're a rock star and you know it, offer them an in-person interview ASAP. And I really want you to understand that this is vital. Don't wait a couple days. Don't schedule it for next week. Heck, if they're a rock star, you get them in the same day. How come? Why do we have to? Why are we emphasizing it's so important to get them in as soon as possible?
Because rock stars are not going to stay unemployed for very long. They are going to get hired right away. I mean, literally, if you're on the phone with someone and they have the awesome enthusiasm, they're being very professional, they have a positive attitude, they basically have that whole culture of we are the best. If you can feel that on that call, literally, while you are still on the phone with them, go, you know what? I've got an opening today. Can we get you in for an in-person interview today? I want to get you in front of our hiring director.
Definitely. Now look, if you know that the person on the phone interview is not going to work out, they're just simply not a good fit, they don't match your culture, they don't have that enthusiasm or professionalism or positive attitude that you're looking for, it's very simple. All that you tell them is thank you for your time and let them know that your hiring director will call them if they are interested in moving forward. So what we're doing right now is we're playing an intermediary position. We're doing the interviews, even if we're the owner, but we're pretending that we have a hiring director. So just keep that in mind. If you're a one-person operation before you've expanded your team, you can play multiple roles just like that. All right, let's move forward here. The in-person interview. This is where everything starts to come together. The person has passed their phone interview with flying colors. You're like, wow, this person's going to be a great fit. They're awesome. I want to get them in the door as soon as possible. So now you can bring them in for a one-on-one interview if you have enough time. Or if you're interviewing a lot of people, especially in your first year, you might have to hire 5 to 7 summer camp coaches all at once. this is where a group interview comes into play, which again, that bonus video that I talked about, you want to take a look at that as soon as you are done with this module. So in part number 5, the first thing you want to know is that once you confirm that they are a good fit, you want to email them and text them the time of the interview, your address, and what to wear. Now, it's important to send an email and a text because you don't want to give this person any reason to play the game of saying, well, I didn't know, or I didn't get your message, right? So it's email and text. And then one thing that's really important, and this goes really deep into the psychology of perception, you want to tell them what to wear to the interview. 2 things happen. Number 1, you can quickly see if they're going to follow directions. If you tell them to dress business casual and they show up in a low budget pair of sweatpants with some flip-flops, clearly they're not following directions. But the other thing, think about perception. Think about first impressions and how important they are, right? So if you have somebody's first impression where they walk into your business, they're dressed business casual, they're told to look professional, they're told to bring their resume, they are going to have a perception that this is a serious business. This is legit. It's not a mom and pop. It's not something that they can just show up to randomly, call out of work if they feel like it, because you are helping them see your business professionally from the moment that they walk in. Now, on the flip side, if they roll in with sweatpants and flip-flops and a t-shirt with holes in it and their hair's all whack, well, here's the problem. That's how they're going to see your business. It's a direct reflection of how they see themselves at that moment. So keep in mind, tell them to wear slacks, a button-up shirt. They can wear a tie if they have one. They can wear closed-toed shoes. Those are all very important things. And if you're hiring a female, have her wear something business casual. You don't want any tank tops. You don't want any t-shirts or things like that.
And also keep in mind that if you are hiring, though, for somebody that is a specialty coach, which means that maybe they're coming in to teach martial arts or dance or cheerleading, you also want to let them know that they need to bring something with them that will allow them to be able to demonstrate some techniques. So just like with the phone interview, how they need to make sure that they are on time for that phone call, you will only interview people who arrive on time. Again, if they show up late, that's not a good sign. It is going to be a pattern that repeats itself if they ultimately get hired.
Yeah, if they show up late, they're done.
Don't waste your time.
Tell them no thank you. One thing that's really important is that you want your applicant to park in front of your school so that you can see if they drove their personal vehicle. You don't want them relying on a ride from their mom or from a roommate or from a boyfriend or girlfriend. It is simply not a good thing because then that will become an excuse as to why they can't show up to work at your summer camp in the future. Trust me, we've seen it play out in our own businesses. We've also seen it play out in MAST members' businesses. You have to make sure they have reliable personal transportation. And I'm even a little hesitant on hiring people that drive motorcycles because when it starts to rain during the summer or if there's bad weather, all of a sudden that becomes an excuse as to why they can't make it. So I get it, there's rideshare services, you have Lyft, you have Uber and things like that, and that's great. And those are used in emergencies. So if you do have somebody that's like, hey, listen, I have a flat tire or my car wouldn't start. Okay, no problem. What's the address where you're at? I'll send a car to pick you up right now. And at the end of the day, just eat that cost. It's probably going to be less than $20, but at least you know you are not short-handed.
You are looking for someone who is a rock star. So during this interview, are they enthusiastic? Do they have high energy? Do they have a positive attitude?
Are they smiling? Did they shake your hand and look you in the eye? These are all things we look for.
Yes. So if they come in and they just are very lackluster and they are like frumpy, don't even waste your time.
Don't hire any frumpy people. All right. Now, here's the thing. If they do well, which hopefully they will, you want to schedule an audition as soon as possible. And again, just like the point we made previously, rock stars get hired very quickly. Your competitors would love to have these people. So if you're going to give somebody an audition, you want to set that up either the same exact day or literally like the next day possible, right? So here's the thing. When they come in for the audition, we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Let's imagine that they crush it. You want to be able to check their references as quickly as possible and then make them a job offer as soon as you can. Do not waste any time. I mean, literally write that down. Don't waste time. All right, part number 6, the audition process. This one is awesome. This is really going to separate you from your competitors. This is going to give you that confidence that you need to know so that you feel good when you actually offer them a job, and you never have to worry about, is this person actually good? And here's the other thing too that I want you to really write down. If they have to earn the opportunity to work for you, then it is more meaningful to them. So I want you to always to be able to have that leverage. You want all of your coaches, all of your directors, any of the instructors you hire to feel as if they qualified and they earned the opportunity to work for your school. Because when they feel that way, they never think that you need them more than they need you. And that is a very important distinction to have in the hiring game, because you want people to have a high level of respect for your business. You want them to see you in a professional light, and then their job performance will be elevated because of that. So when we do the audition process, it makes them work for it. It makes them earn it. So here's what we do first.
So for your summer camp coaches, you want to simply have them read a book to a group of kids, and then they can do a sports activity or a game. So this can be, something like 4 corners, or maybe they'll play silent dodgeball. But you want to have them actually leading a group of kids, because somebody can do a fantastic job on the phone. They can do a great job in front of you as another adult, but then you stick them in front of a bunch of kids, and who knows what happens. Either they are going to shine or they are going to completely freeze up.
You make a great point, Lauren. So here's the thing. It's important to remember that someone's resume is more of a formality. They can write whatever they want on that resume. They could say that they have a ton of experience, or they could tell you they don't have much experience at all. But the moment that you see them interact with the kids, you are going to know if they're a great fit or not. And we've hired people that have had very little to no child experience. I mean, to the point where we knew that they had a great personality, they were coachable, they were great communicators, and as soon as we put them in with a group of kids, it was like this instant connection. There was magnetism, there was high energy, it was awesome, and the kids respected them. That is the type of person that you want on your team. Now, on the flip side, we've had people apply for jobs that have had master's degrees, doctorates, years of being a director for one of our competitors, years of being a coach in another program. And then they show up and they're horrible. I mean, it's like insanely bad. So then we don't offer them a position. But could you imagine how much time you would waste if you weren't sure? How much doubt you would have if you weren't positively sure they were a good fit? I mean, you don't want stress, right? So this eliminates the stress. This eliminates the worry. I mean, you will literally feel great when you add someone that's awesome to your team, because this will show you that they're awesome. Now, when you're hiring someone like a dance teacher or a martial art instructor or a cheerleading coach, you actually want them to teach a 30-minute class. And what's great about this is if you currently have an after-school program in operation, have them show up during after-school hours, give them, 10 to 20 kids at one time, and have them teach a class. Have them do warm-ups, do some drills. You want to watch how they interact with the kids, and you don't want to have to give them a lot of direction. We get asked a lot of times, like, Dwayne and Lauren, well, if I hire a dance teacher, what curriculum do we use? If I hire a cheerleader, what curriculum do we... I don't know what curriculum. Here's the thing. MAST doesn't teach curriculum. You hire experts so they have their own ability to run those classes, right? Just like how we're not teaching you what to teach, we are teaching you how to do your business. So curriculums can be different and they can be awesome, and those are the people you want to bring on your team.
Now, just as a little pro tip here, when you are selecting the students to participate in this 30-minute trial class with your potential new hire, you want to do a 50-50 split. So you want to pick out about 10 kids who are always trying their best. They always are following directions. You know that they're going to be very easy to work with. But then also pick out about 10 kids that might be a little bit more challenging for that coach to work with, because you want to see how they manage the class as a whole. So by having a split of your kids that always follow directions and the ones that might give them a little bit of a challenge, you're going to really see how well that coach is going to do in an actual classroom setting.
Definitely. Now, assuming that you've already checked their references, so this would happen between the in-person interview and the audition, then you can offer them a job right on the spot. And it's really important to check their references. Now, it's not because you're really worried about what the person's actually going to say, because think about it. Do you think they're going to give you a reference of someone that's going to say something negative about them? And if they do, then that's a really big red flag. But it's more of a formality to show the applicant that you're checking up because you take this position very seriously. Because what you say is very important, that you're operating this professional business with integrity. That is what high-level businesses do. When they hire someone, they check references. So here's the thing. If you already have checked the references, it's time to offer them a job. If you have not checked references, you want to let that person know that you are excited, that they passed their audition, and that the last step is you're checking references, and then you're prepared to offer them a position if their references check out. So what's going to happen is you're going to make some phone calls, and about half the people are going to respond back to you pretty quickly, and then the other half aren't. Usually within the first day or so, they will respond back. And keep in mind, you are welcome to send text messages to their references, right? Now, in the case where you have someone that just doesn't respond back to you, you want to reach back out to the person that's applying for the job. You want to let them know that their friend or their business contact has not responded, and you want to have them give you someone new. Check the new reference, and then offer them the job. It's as simple as that. So here is part number 7. This is where the game changes. This is where you're building that team. They're taking a lot of the stress, a lot of the responsibility off of your shoulders. You're feeling like a leader. You're crushing it. You're enrolling more kids because you have hired Rockstars. So here's what you do. First off, as soon as they accept the job, you want that person to fill out the employment paperwork. Now, depending on which state you're in, or if you're in Canada, you want to check with your state hiring guidelines. It's a simple Google search to find out what they need to sign. Oftentimes, it's as simple as a W-2 form so that they can let you know how they want their taxes filed, and then everything is good. If it's an independent contractor, more often than not, it's a 1099 that they're going to fill out, and these are downloadable templates that you can find online within just a matter of moments. You want to make a copy of their driver's license as well, so simply have them pull out their license, and then you take out your phone and do a full color picture of the front of their license and the back of their license, and then keep that in their employment records.
Now next, you'll want to have them fill out an employment agreement that includes their job description. What are they really signing up for? So they need to have very clear expectations with what they're going to be doing, as well as what support they're going to receive from you as an owner.
That's right. In the last 2 modules where we talked about coaches' responsibilities and director systems, right? You actually receive templates that have the job description on there. So you can use that template and they can sign that. So again, that's not necessarily what is considered a legal document, but it's a great way to make sure everybody's on the same page. Because if you ever have to terminate an employee, or like I said before, let them pursue something that they're more passionate about, you can at least say, hey, look, the expectations aren't being met, so I think it's a good opportunity right now for us to part ways. All right, what about taking a headshot?
So this is super fun. So you want to find a place in your school that you always take your pictures of your coaches, because you want it to be consistent for their ID badges that they will wear once you actually place the order and they come in. They're going to be super proud to have these. And not to go off on a tangent about this, but name badges are awesome. You absolutely need to have them because it creates trust with the parents and the kids, because now they know who you are. They know who to go to if they have a question. But it also makes that coach feel so special and really a part of the team when they get their badge in, their picture is on it, their name is on it, and you have your company logo on there. They feel so much a part of it.
Yeah, it's all about perception, right? If they perceive this to be a real opportunity, a real career, a real way to make lasting impact in children's lives, you're going to have people with the mindset that they're going to be in your business for years to come. The flip side of that would be, let's take somebody that works like a fast food job, or they're just kind of bouncing around from odds and ends type jobs. Their mentality is that they're naturally just going to get tired of an opportunity, then they're going to move on to the next one. What we're doing is we're creating the mindset and the environment and the culture where you will have these coaches for years.
And you can also dual purpose that headshot. Post it on your social media. Hey, let's welcome Coach Bob. He's done XYZ martial arts.
Brag about them.
Yes, you're going to brag about them. And now they are going to be super excited. They're like, holy crap, all these parents know what I'm up to and they know that I'm awesome. They're going to feel awesome. They're going to take the job way more seriously. And they are truly going to be that rock star that you're looking for.
100%. Okay, now here's the thing. You want to get the bio so that you can promote them on social media with that headshot that Lauren was just talking about. So ask them, what are your favorite things to do? What are your hobbies? Where did you go to school? If they are a sport-specific instructor, what is your black belt in? Where did you study dance? Where did you study gymnastics or cheerleading? These are all really cool things that will make them more personable to all of your families. Okay, then the next thing is you want to schedule their background check. The basic thing to look for is you can go to Google and type in live scan vendor in your state, in your county, in your city, or zip code. So what live scan is it is a process where you can go in, get your fingerprints digitally rendered, and then it submits it to the National FBI database. So now you're doing a level 2 background check because those results will feature the local, the state, and the national results. So for example, if you only did a county-wide background search, what's going to happen if the person committed a crime in another county? You're not going to know about it. Or if you only do a statewide search, what if they lived in a different state last year and they committed a crime that would prevent them from working with kids? So a level 2 background check with live scan technology is the perfect way to go. And the majority of our clients easily can find a vendor. And if you're having any difficulty, reach out to us. Use your mastermind. There's a lot of school owners. We've worked with people in every state, and we can definitely help get you pointed in the right direction.
Now, next is you'll want to schedule their next training or their first shift for some on-the-job training. So for these trainings, this is something that culture has to be set right away. Make sure that they do actually still show up on time for that first shift. Make sure that when they are there that they are ready to go and that they know what they are supposed to be wearing during that time. So you may not have that uniform ready for them during that first shift. So you need to make it very clear with what they need to wear. They need to be on time. They need to be groomed properly and have some fun with it.
Lastly, you want to enthusiastically introduce them to all of your staff and your students. You want to use what we refer to as identity phrases. So I want you to write down that term, identity phrases. And an example of an identity phrase, let's imagine if I was introducing Lauren to all of our staff. I'd be like, guys, this is Coach Lauren. She is an incredible dance and cheerleading instructor. She was a professional NFL cheerleader for multiple seasons. She was the head captain of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and went to the Pro Bowl. She is an expert in summer camps and after-school programs. She loves kids. She loves being creative, and she is an asset to this team. Now, could you imagine how Lauren is going to feel when I publicly introduce her and she's standing next to me and I say all of those great things about her?
I mean, I feel pretty good right now.
That's awesome, right? So what you're doing is you're creating an environment where these new employees, they're going to have their minds blown, right? Like if they've ever worked for any other YMCA or daycare facility or karate school, like no one does this stuff. So you're positioning yourself as that expert. You're creating a culture of excellence. You are the best. Your coaches will see you and see your business as being the best, and therefore their performance will be elevated to fill those shoes.
So on the topic of creating the culture of we are the best, this is that perfect opportunity when you go to introduce the coach to the students going, hey guys, what kind of kids do we accept here? And all the kids, of course, are going to say, the best. Well, what kind of coaches do we have here? And of course, they're going to say,
the best.
And when you do that, that's when you introduce and go, this coach is here because he or she is the best. and you have them all give
Yeah.
them a hand.
Yeah,
and
what do we
they're super
say
excited.
for Coach Lauren being on our team and being here with us this summer? What do we say? Thank you, Coach Lauren. All right, let's give her a huge round of applause. Everybody's clapping, right? So it's so important to do that because it really locks them into that new identity that you're creating for them now that they're a member of your team. And I can tell you this, when you and your business are the source of that much positivity, nobody wants to go anywhere else. I mean, do you really think that your competitors are going to treat them like this? Now, if you want to put the cherry on the top, there's a book called Giftology. I want you to check it out. You can get it on Amazon. It's a really cool book. But anyways, it talks about the art and the science of gifting, giving gifts, right? Give them a gift. Like, even if they've only been there for a couple days, give them something nice, maybe around a $50 price point, something that's meaningful, something that is really cool. Because I can assure you, again, that your competitors don't do this, and it's going to solidify your rapport, solidify that relationship, and they are going to go above and beyond to make sure that your summer camp is the absolute best possible. Now, I know we're kind of abruptly changing gears here and talking about disciplinary strategy. And if you look at this picture, there's always that one bad apple. Now, there's a pattern that we've noticed with the school owners that we've worked with across North America. I would say that when we first start working with you, about 90% of your coaches or current staff members are awesome. And it's because you're awesome. But there's always one or two that need to go. So we call them the bad apples. And again, like I said, it's not a bad thing. It's not like, your business is going to fail. A lot of school owners think that if they have to let someone go, that their online reputation is going to be trashed and tarnished. That's simply not the case. What you do is you treat the person with respect and you let them go because, again, they're pursuing something they're more passionate about. Their heart's not in the game anymore, and it's time to let them go. So let's talk about how to do that. First off, if they do something that goes against the employee rules, goes against your etiquette, you want to give them a verbal warning. Now, if it's something that's serious, go right into a write-up on day one. You don't want to take any chances. You don't want to have anybody that continues this behavior. In fact, you want to stop it as soon as possible. The second thing that you want to do is give them a write-up again. If they do this action for the second time, let's imagine that they show up late one day and they get written up. They show up again for a second time late. They get another write-up. Because it's at this point now where if you have somebody on your team that has, I'm going to use the word earned, if they have earned 2 write-ups, guess what you start doing? You start looking for their replacement right now. I'm not going to necessarily tell you to fire them on the spot unless it's a infraction that's worthy of that. However, anybody with 2 write-ups, they're on their way out. I'm already going to start sending out a mass email to all of our applicants that we're expanding, that we're adding another rock star to our team. I'm going to start interviewing, doing this exact same process to find their replacement. Now, here's the thing. After you start interviewing for the replacement, once you hire that new person, you let the other person go, and you do it quickly. Again, you want to check with your local and state employment laws, but one best practice is you always have a witness. You never want to be one-on-one when you're letting somebody go because who knows the type of story that person might create about that experience. When you have a witness, it keeps everything transparent. It maintains the integrity of the interaction, and you can have confidence that it will be an easy process and the person will move forward in their life and find something that they're best suited for.
And then keep in mind that rock stars rarely get written up. I mean, they really are there to put their best foot forward and always do well. So it's unlikely for them to show up late, be out of uniform, or do a no-call, no-show, which is immediate grounds for termination
Immediate
anyways.
grounds of termination.
But they rarely will do anything. So this is going to be something that will usually happen right at the beginning of somebody getting hired, or maybe it's with your current staff that just aren't fitting into that culture.
Okay, let's take a quick look at the list of things that are immediate grounds for termination. Inappropriate behavior towards students or staff. This could be violating the rules where, they're hugging kids, they're picking up children, they're letting kids sit on their lap. Not acceptable at all. If they use bad language, they are instantly fired. If they use their phone while driving a company vehicle with or without children, not acceptable. Think about it like this. The public sees your van and the van has your decals and your logo and your contact information, and all of a sudden they see a coach driving it. who is on their phone. Are you kidding me right now? Unacceptable. Leaving students unattended. That means that they're out of ratio. That's not allowed. A no call, no show. If that happens even once, I don't care what the excuse is. It better be a major documented emergency. That's the only way they'll ever get out of that. But anything else, they are immediately let go.
Theft, if they steal anything, I mean, this could be even along the lines of they said that they were at the facility at a certain time, but they really didn't get there until, 10 minutes later. So therefore, they're actually stealing by clocking in hours that they didn't work. And then, of course, you have other forms of theft, like actually stealing money, maybe from your snacks, or stealing video games. I mean, there's all kinds of things that can be stolen. So anything along those lines is immediate grounds for termination, as well as dishonesty. We have a culture of, we are the best. And people who are the best, they have integrity, they do what they say that they're going to do, and they don't lie. They always tell the truth no matter what, and they keep it real.
Absolutely. Honesty and integrity are so important, not only for us as leaders, but for your team. Okay, let's go into some MAST Pro tips here. So these are all writer-downers. These are things that are so important. I wish that I would have known this years ago in my own career, in my own businesses. Inspect what you expect. So that goes along the lines of every employee, every coach has to fill out a daily cleaning checklist. Doesn't matter if they're AM or PM shift, they have to fill it out before they clock out. You want to inspect their work. You want to let them know that you're inspecting their work. Because when they know they're being watched, remember, it allows honest people to remain honest, right?
This also has to do with your directors as well. Filling out that daily debrief form at the end of the day. If your director doesn't fill it out and you've already told them that you expect it to be filled out by 6:15 or even 6:30 at the latest, and you go on and it's 6:45 and it's not filled out, you have to follow up with that director. Otherwise, it's going to create a habit of them just not filling it out.
Yeah, they're only going to take your policies and your rules as seriously as you enforce them. So this brings up to the next point here. This is a mind-blowing but yet simple concept. Write this down. Silence is acceptance. If you have an employee, this could be a coach, a driver, a sports instructor, a director, anyone, who does something that is not okay. And if you ignore it, you're basically telling them, good job, I want you to do it again. If they show up late, 5 to 10 minutes, and you don't say anything, or if they don't do a good job cleaning and you just go, oh, well, maybe they were just busy. If you find yourself making an excuse for anybody's performance, you're basically telling them, great job, keep doing it, and do it even more.
Yeah, and guess what? It's going to actually continue to get worse. Not to go off on a tangent, but just give you a little example. So we had a coach one time that wore bright green shorty socks. Now, the policy is white or black, no-show socks. Nothing was said to him about these neon green socks that were sticking out of his shoes. And the next day, he came in with knee-high socks that were all different colors. And we're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Now we're way out of the scope here. But if we would have just said something right away, hey, just friendly reminder, it's white or black no-show socks only, it would have been fixed right away.
And here's the thing. In that exact example, if you say, all right, is there anything that's going to prevent you from following this policy tomorrow? They're going to tell you, no, I understand. I can follow the policy. And then you hold them accountable for that, right? But if you allow it to continue to happen, not only is it going to get even worse with that coach, all of the sudden it spreads like cancer to the rest of your team. Now everybody starts dropping the ball. If you can't monitor the little things, you'll never have large amounts of success. So keep that in mind. And like we've said before, hire slowly, fire fast. If the person's not a good fit, if they're breaking the rules, you got to get them off of your team as quickly as possible because that behavior will spread to other coaches. And like I said a moment ago, fire with witnesses. It's vital to be able to do that. Now, we get asked this question a lot. If you do terminate someone and that person still has a last paycheck, do they come in to your school to pick it up? Do you meet them somewhere? What's the best way? Do you mail it? Keep it simple. They don't need to come back to your facility. There is no reason for it. So simply mail, or you can use direct deposit and give them their last paycheck.
Now, you want to keep things in writing and on file. Make sure that everything is well documented so that they can never come back and say, oh, well, he said this or she said this or that happened. No, cut it all out. Make sure that it is well documented, and you want to have them sign it as well. Anything that is kept in writing with their signature, they can't go back on that.
Exactly. So again, why do we cover all this? Is it to make you concerned? Is it to give you other things to think about? Absolutely not. Instead, you will have unbridled confidence. You'll feel so bold. You will feel ready to rock and hire the team because you know the exact system to follow. You know what to do to create rock stars, and you know what to do when you have to let somebody go who's not a good fit for your team any longer. Now, one thing I want to say, anytime that a MAST coaching member has asked us if they have to let somebody go, and we say, yeah, we think that you should, they've always reported that it was the best decision they could have made. The culture of their staff improved. The culture of their camp improved. It almost frees up this negative energy that was lingering around. And guess what else happens? The environment goes to the next level. It's positive. It's happy again. That creates more referrals. That creates more enrollments. So if you ever see yourself in a slump or a plateau where just things aren't working, I want you to look inwardly and go, what's going on every single day in my camp? Is my team operating at a high level? Are they in there? Are they enthusiastic? Are they engaging with the kids? Are they having fun? You really got to get focused, and you have to be honest with yourself, because sometimes it can be as simple as you've just let one particular person stay on your team way longer than you should have. So again, hire slowly and fire fast. All right. Now let's go ahead and talk about the MAST employee training system. This is a very simple system. And when you do staff trainings, you want to host them once a week. And we always recommend doing them either before the after-school program shift on a Friday, or if it's during the summer camp, you can host them every other week on a Saturday morning. Now keep in mind, a lot of times summer camp training sessions are not required because you see the same employees every single day. And what's important to know about that is you can imagine yourself doing on-the-job training in various situations. So you're always there, your director's always there to support and teach the team how to continuously get better. The first week of summer camp is going to feel a little bit chaotic. The second week, it's going to start to settle down. By the third week, things are running smoothly. And by the second year that you do a MAST summer camp, it's going to happen even faster. Things are going to smooth out. It's going to be fun and exciting. It's going to be great. So how do you make sure that your employees are rock stars? So every time that you do a training session, you want to pick out 2 or 3 different tips to talk about. And like I said, training sessions can be every Friday for 1 hour. And what's great about that is when you start training your staff, especially if you're watching this course right now, and if right now means that you have an after-school program, do it on Fridays 1 hour before the normal shift begins. Don't do it late at night. Try to avoid the weekends if possible, because you want your team to already have to be there so they don't have to arrange their personal schedule just to come in for 1 hour. One thing that's important is to know that trainings are paid and they're mandatory. So oftentimes we have school owners that'll come up to us and they'll be like, about half of my team can make the Friday session, but the other half can't. Well, listen, you're going to have to make a decision. At some point, you will have to replace the people that can't make the trainings, and you're going to have to hire people who can. That needs to be part of their weekly schedule so you can continue to grow as a team.
Now, if the reason why they can't is because of school, the great news is that every semester they have the opportunity to adjust their schedule. So you want to have them say, hey, listen, if you want to stay on the team, we really need you to adjust your school schedule so that you are able to make these trainings because they are mandatory.
And look, we're talking about once a week for an hour. It's not that hard to do. So don't fall into the trap of believing their story about how things might be difficult. No, it's as simple as this. You want to be awesome. You want to work on our team. Make the shift happen. Okay. Covering 2 to 3 topics during each training is perfect because it gives you just enough time to keep things concise. It allows you to answer questions about those topics. And then it also leaves time for you to talk about 1% improvements.
So for the first 4 to 8 weeks that you're really implementing the MAST system, you may have to put out a few fires, meaning that you're just having to really retrain your staff, and you want to teach them how to really embody the culture of We Are the Best. This includes everything from how they're communicating with the kids, how they're communicating with parents, how they're communicating with you, as well as all of their other coworkers. So you want to make sure that everybody is on the same page and they understand what they are supposed to do, because how they have been doing it may be significantly different than the way that they need to be doing it.
Now, after the first 4 to 8 weeks, and after the fires have been put out and you guys are operating with the new MAST systems in play, then you can start really focusing on teaching new topics that you're learning in these courses, right? So that's when you can start to really go above and beyond, and you can talk about things like the referral program, or you can teach them how to get better at school events or birthday parties or parents' night outs. So make sure that number one, your business is solid and the foundations are solid. And then number two, that's when you teach them the new techniques and the new systems that will help your business grow. All right, let's move on to the next point here. This is so awesome. When you start each training, you want to start with wins. So you want to be like, listen, Coach Sean, you did a great job because of X, Y, and Z. And Coach Brandon, you did an awesome job because of X, Y, and Z. You want to go through team member by team member and highlight things that they're doing really well. Because some of the 2 to 3 topics that you might be covering that day are things that some of them might not be doing well. Now, keep in mind, you don't want to toss anybody under the bus. You don't want to be like, Coach Sean, we're doing this topic because you messed up the other day. But instead, keep it vague, keep it anonymous. The coach that's sitting there is going to know that this training is partially because of their actions or behaviors, but they're not going to feel embarrassed. They're going to feel appreciated and respected. So you can all improve incrementally with each training. And then at the end, what should they be doing about these 1% improvements?
Well, when you have the coaches share their ideas, share their thoughts on how the team can be either brought closer together, or how you can build a business, or new fun things that they can do with the kids or with the parents, when they're able to share those thoughts or those ideas, it allows them to take ownership in that business, in the culture that you have. So, and here's the cool thing is sometimes they come up with ideas and you're like, oh, okay, cool. No matter what, great idea. That's awesome. Make sure that you write everything down on a dry erase board so that they can actually visually see it there, and that will make them feel very special. But sometimes they will actually have ideas that you do want to implement and you want to get it done right away. And guess what? During the next training, after you have implemented their 1% improvement and it has proven to be successful, you start off that training with a win. Hey, great job, Coach Sean. Thank you so much. Guess what? We did X, Y, and Z, and it worked out great. Everybody loves it, and they're having a great time.
These systems are designed to keep people excited, to keep people wanting to work for your team for many years. It's these little 1% improvements that go a long way. And lastly, people are hungry. Order pizza for these staff trainings. Give them a couple slices, order some bottles of water. It's so easy to do. It's a very minimal cost, and it causes them to look forward to the training sessions on Friday, and it sets the tone for the rest of the day, because remember, every Friday is what?
Fun Friday.
Fun Friday.
Yes, which actually brings it to, why do you host these trainings on Friday? I think it's really important to acknowledge that, because
absolutely,
you might have the question, well, it works better for everybody's schedule if we do it on a Wednesday.
No.
Don't do it on a Wednesday. Don't do it any other day except Friday. And there's a few reasons why. Number one is your coaches have had the whole week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They're really witnessing things that are working, as well as witnessing things that maybe need to be improved on. So having that whole week built up, and then on Friday, you're able to acknowledge it or fix and retrain, Friday is going to be the best day for it. And like Dwayne just said, it's Fun Friday. It gets them pumped up.
Yeah, they're in a good mindset. They're in a good state, right? So this really allows for high levels of performance. It allows for participation during these trainings. And keep in mind, they're not meetings, they're trainings. Meetings are boring, trainings are fun. Trainings allow you to learn something new, to develop new skills, and to have a good time. So it's really important to do that. Now, let's go over the training room example. So this is logistically how you're going to set up the room. So it's always good to have a dry erase board, and it's represented by that blue line. And then you as the presenter, as the leader, perhaps it's you as the owner, or maybe it's your director that's hosting this training, you're going to stand in front of the dry erase board. So that way you have your agenda, it's already written down, and you also create a one-page overview that you pass out to each employee so that they can follow along. And then you're going to have people sit in a semicircle pattern so that they can all easily see you, but they can also see each other. And that has been scientifically proven to create a bond during these types of sessions. It increases the level of comfortability. It increases the desire to participate and to give good feedback, and it elevates their performance. So this is the exact formation that you want. Put the chairs in a semicircle, stand in front so everybody can see you, and make sure that you use that dry erase board. Now, we always would use one that was on the wall. It was a giant one. It was like 4 or 5 feet wide by like 3 feet tall. And if you don't have a place or an area to hang something like that, what you can do is use a tripod or an easel and then get like a 2 foot by 3 foot wide dry erase board, which is the same one that you would use in your lobby. So you can dual purpose it and save money. All right, so I know that you just received a ton of content from this incredible module. Now you have the confidence to move forward. You know exactly where to find awesome people, how to interview them, how to hire them, what you need to do after they're hired, and you know how to give incredible training sessions every Friday on Fun Friday, right? So as we move forward in this course, there are still 2 incredible modules that are coming your way. Module number 19 is where you are going to learn everything you need to know about customer service and administrative responsibilities. This is going to teach you how to operate your business at a higher level, and it's going to give you the tools that you need to train somebody to do it for you. And then the last module is our favorite. This is where we talk about how to scale your business, how to turn this into what we would refer to as a lifestyle business, and how to delegate to your team more effectively so that you can have more freedom as a business owner, you can make more money, and you can have more fun. And this is where we're seeing people have an incredible mindset shift where they go from having a mentality of being a single school owner to now they go, wait a minute, this system has changed my life. I feel confident, I feel organized, I believe in the system. Now I can see myself opening up another school. I can imagine seeing all of the smiles and all the happy faces inside of this new school. I can literally hear people saying, great job, we're so excited that you opened up a school in our area. And then you're gonna know that the MAST system has changed your life. This is going to bring you to the high 6-figure and even 7-figure level per year. Imagine how your life is going to change at that moment. So get ready. You still have 2 awesome modules. We look forward to talking to you on the next one, and we'll see you soon.